And we're live. Well, welcome to the Behind the Scope podcast. It's good to see you all here today. And I want to thank everybody for joining us that are here. I can see that we have 6 watching right now. And I want to remind you that the chat window is open. So if you want to talk to us, you can send us a chat and we will gladly respond. So I guess we're providing such good content because we have 72,000 subscribers as of now. And again, thank you. If there's anything that you would want to see added to our channel, just email us, or if you know Fred and I, you can call us and you can fill us in on what exactly you would like to have on the show. We keep it light. We don't mind talking lightly controversial, but we don't want to have anybody lose us as members. Um, One of the things that I'd like to discuss with you right now is that we have these wonderful 100% cotton t-shirts. And you'll notice that there is a QR code on the sleeve for curious people to scan and see our channel. You can purchase these t-shirts on our website at behindthescopellc.com. We also have a booklet on the history of ATC. And Fred and his wife are going to be working on coffee cups along with hats to sell as merch for our show. It will help with the production of our channel. So keep us in mind when it comes to supporting us, because we are not monetized yet. And this is still coming out of our pocket. And we're close. We got 1/3 of 3,000 people as far as work hours go, and that's what we have to go by in order to get monetized. So Fred, what have you got to say about this operation?
Oh, it's another week gone by. We've discussed various things that we've heard that have happened in aviation and the air traffic system. We've gotten to see the president make some miraculous and amazing deals in the Middle East and get a fascinating gift to bring back. I wonder if they put a bow on it.
That's funny because I was watching all the controversy surrounding that gift, and the media is just like all over it, but nobody was all over Clinton getting that helicopter from them that he still uses right now, and the other presidents that were gifted these items at almost that amount of money. But it is what it is. It depends on what channel you're looking at, and once again, please, don't be right, don't be left, be an intelligent individual, okay? Don't tell them don't let them tell you how to think, all right? You could pick excuse my French, fly shit out of the pepper, please, all right? They all have an agenda.
If it's got the name Trump on the side, it has some negative connotations to certain people around the world.
Of course.
To me,
But
I'd wash the plane if he'd let me.
So let's get into some of the meat of this. There's a $150 billion FAA infrastructure bill that's going out there that Sean Duffy was talking about. And very happy that they're going to have money to help build the system. But I think a 2 to 3 year turnaround is a little bit aggressive. Being in the FAA over 30 years and in that area that does a little bit of modernization, there are some things that need to be included in that bill that hopefully they will look at. And one of the things that I believe needs to happen is that when they bid on the product, whatever the product may be, number one, it shouldn't go to the lowest bidder. The lowest bidder is going to give you the least amount of stuff, and you'll find that even though it's the lowest bid, there's going to be problems, and you're still going to have to put some more money in it, okay? A turnkey operation would be ideal, but a turnkey operation would have to have sustaining funds to go along with it. And not just sustaining funds, it also has to have funds for upgrades. And it would have to have funds for training. And I don't mean pulling controllers out of staffing to train controllers on. I mean that the corporation that takes the bid and works the product should know their product well enough to sit in a control room and help train controllers in real time on their product. No longer should we have to supply, or the FAA should have to supply overtime to train. When their company that they bought the product from should be delivering the training directly in real time to the controllers to make sure that it is as effective as possible. What do you think about that, Fred?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think turnkey is the best answer. I mean, we're actually going to have to invent some new systems. When we went from shrimp boats to digitized radar, there were systems that had to be invented and produced. That was a long time ago. Now with our satellite communications and networks, there may be things through data link to give the controller a presentation of what is going on in front of him. And that presentation has to have redundancy. I know I've had situations where I did lose my radar, went to my backup, and the backup wasn't there. Went to my third alternative, and it was real blurry. And again, the controllers and the pilots, I remember as I'm yelling to these controllers to get on codes for me to try to find them, asking this one Eastern to verify his position, and his response was, "Oh, I don't know, do you really need it?"
You know, that's funny, Fred.
Yeah,
Well, at the time I know it wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny. I just said, "Thanks a lot."
Yeah, that's when you stand up and the chair comes with you because of the vacuum, right?
Yes. Yes, there are various times.
I tell you, there was one time I was working in the Goshen sector next to Height Plants, and they lost their scope because someone spilled coffee into the slew ball. So I had to reconfigure my scope so Heights could come over and watch their operation while I was working my traffic. Oh man,
Yeah.
fun times, right, Fred?
I had one situation where I lost everything. Finally got things settled down, back to normal, and my boss, Bob McDonald, was standing behind me with a technician, and when I got up, McDonald tells me that this technician was downstairs and he pulled the wrong plug. I leaped at his throat. They had to pull me off him because he aged me a few years and maybe a few hairs. But yeah, I can always see that technician. Yeah, I'd like to see him sitting there when that happened.
It's kind of like the old airport movie where he pulls the plug and says, "Guess where?"
Yeah, time to check the radar range.
That's right. Well, that was a good movie. But getting back to the $150 million, the one thing we don't want to see happen to this bill is it get taken over by, I don't want to say ne'er-do-wells, but people that want to just use the money to keep their section of business open. I mean, look at what happened with ISSS. I forget what the budget was to sustain that. Millions and millions of dollars thrown at it, and it never came to fruition. And why? Why? Because there were too many people involved in the making of it. You know, it's like too many cooks spoil the broth. When they do this bill, they need qualified people that know how the air traffic system works, and they also need people that can think outside the box to how the modernization of what is in place can fit into what the ideal safety and separation requirements are. I know in some places where in en-route environments we're using 3 miles of separation instead of the old 5 miles, and at altitude we're using 1,000 feet of separation in flight levels, whereas before when you get up to 31,000, you were using 2,000 foot separation. So 29 and above, it was 2,000. Now they're down to 1,000 feet between aircraft, which is quite a significant improvement. It increases the volume capability of the sector, but where does be help for the controller come into play to make his work less cumbersome so that he can handle the additional volume of aircraft. And I'm not talking about splitting a sector and adding infrastructure. I'm talking about keeping the same sector and giving the controller more capability to control the traffic with less transmissions, less data input, more intuitive and more ergonomically feasible software that would follow along with ADS-B and satellite communications. Anybody have any ideas out there about what that should look like? I'd be more than happy to entertain that.
You know, you have to remember, as these systems improved and the separation decreased, 2,000 feet, when two aircraft coming at one another are converging at 15 to 20 miles a minute, seemed tight. Now, they're converging, or we've reduced that to 1,000 feet. And again, they're still converging at those speeds. And as aircraft get faster, they're going to be converging at a faster rate. When you first see an aircraft in front of you, he can be 1,000 feet above you. When you first see him, he looks like he's below you. Then he looks like he's at your altitude. And then in the last seconds, all of a sudden he goes flashing above you. You wouldn't want those two airplanes to be 500 feet apart. That's taking the, you know, too close to the edge. You can't get too close to the edge for that. You need those safety margins in there.
You'll have to excuse the camera work. Somehow my camera has decided to take have a mind of its own, so we've just put up the banner in front of us. Don't mind those people behind the curtain, okay? But you're right, Fred, in all aspects and all respects. And we were talking this morning to somebody that was up in Oklahoma City, and they were telling us that they're running two scheduled training sessions a day so that they can get some controllers out there training and increase the amount of people that will be training. And they were talking about the ATC test and about how the beginning of those the test was very light and not really focused on the abilities of somebody. And then the last, what was it, 97 questions or something of the test actually would prove how and if a controller was capable of doing the job. And those questions were removed because I think they said it was due to racial issues. And I wonder how they came to that conclusion. If anybody knows and wants to weigh in, I'd love to hear that. So anybody have any thoughts on that? Well, I guess not. And I think now our fun with cameras is over. And I could get us back in line and
Did something shift?
yeah, somehow the camera got a mind of its own there. All this technology is almost overwhelming when you're trying to do it by yourself. And this week for me has been a very, very busy week. I've had a lot of issues come up just in my life alone, so I'm sorry about not having somebody here to operate this other than myself. But Fred and I are so happy that you joined. I see that there are 7 people on, and like I said, the chat box is open, and I'd love to entertain any of the questions surrounding modernization or training or anything that went on in the FAA this week, any incidents or any news reports that you've heard. We would love to know what your thoughts are on how we can continue to keep the ATC system safe. And we know that our system here in the United States is the safest in the world. So, what do you think about that, Fred?
Well, I know the situation that occurred in Denver had similarities to what had happened in Newark the week before. The controller lost frequencies for about 2 minutes, and in our business, 2 minutes is a lifetime.
It is.
We haven't heard the details as to why that happened, but a lot of these responsibilities go back to the technicians and the engineering. The controller can work the finished product and keep airplanes apart, but if the equipment fails, there's something going on downstairs that caused that to happen, or something in the microwave links, above, and we need to get answers on what that was.
Very true. So, not to change the subject, but to change the subject, we've got a reunion coming up, or a recognition, a historic recognition for Houston Center. Fred, what's this about?
That's June 26th and June 27th. We haven't picked the final date yet, but it will be the 60th anniversary of our facility, Houston Center.
Yes, the facility that was designed by Lady Bird Johnson, and I know there's a lot of controllers out there that worked in that facility, and we actually need somebody to kind of step up and help with the planning of that, and it's coming up very quickly. So if you are interested, or if you want to help out in that planning, should they contact you, Fred?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get a hold of Fred, and he'd be more than happy to join forces with you and make that happen. We should not let that go uncelebrated, okay? So please, if you can, contact Fred, and let's actually make that 60th year a nice reunion for controllers and technicians, everybody that worked at the facility. I know you'd like to see your old comrades, and I also know that this Thursday at BJ's, the 22nd, there's going to be a get-together of controllers. So that's here in Houston, up there by the Woodlands, actually. The BJ's up by the Woodlands on the east side of 45.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock and later. So we'd love to have you come up to see that then. Brett?
That covers that. Still no questions from anyone?
No, we don't have any questions. So I want to thank you guys again, and ladies again, for joining us. And I'm going to make these shows as interesting as possible. I've got 2 very good editors working on that, along with myself. And Fred is out there getting a hold of people to find interest. So continue to watch, continue to thumbs up our videos, and share them with your friends, anybody in the aviation community. Tell them about us, and let us show our stuff to them. They might jump on board. We're 1/3 of the way to monetization. So we need about another 2,000 hours of viewing. So you can imagine we have 72,800 subscribers as of right now, and we only have 976 hours of usable time. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know how. I know how YouTube figures out the monetization, but okay, I guess that's just a fair way of saying that you'll get it when we decide that you get it.
These folks have to give us more thumbs up.
Yeah, more thumbs up and
when
more watch
watching.
hours. Just as you watch, please let it scroll through the shows. That way the hours will accumulate. So thank you very much, and we'll see you maybe next time, or we'll hear from you. And please remember to call Fred, and buy our T-shirts. These are wonderful. They're very comfortable, and it'll show that you're supporting the channel. Just click on our link that takes you over there, and
And the booklet.
and the booklet. Our booklet is also available for purchase. Anyway, have a great week. Enjoy yourself. Stay healthy. That way there, if you're retired, you could use your retirement for all the fun things that you want in life. So, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
All right.